And welcome back to the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. Dan Labbe with Mary Kay Cabot, and Mary Kay, of course, in Arizona for Super Bowl week. And so I actually really liked this. This actually wasn't a question directly in response to our Hey MK text, but I saw the comment as I was going through some text responses the other day, and I actually thought it was an interesting point because I've noticed this too. It comes from the 904 area code. The NFL commentators in other cities, and I would add on a national level, seem to pretty much totally disregard Deshaun Watson when they talk about the top AFC quarterbacks over the next few years. We Clevelanders are the only ones who think he is still elite or potentially so. Just interesting to see the perspective of others who are perhaps not looking at the situation with rose-colored glasses. And I just found it interesting because I've noticed that as well, and I have some theories as to why Deshaun Watson isn't mentioned. They're probably pretty obvious. But I do notice, like, when people talk about potential top quarterbacks in the AFC, Watson's name does not come up at this point. Why do you think that is?
You know, I've noticed it too, and it is bizarre. It's like people think he's forgotten how to play football, and nobody on the national scene seems to believe that he is the player that he was in 2020 that led the NFL in passing yards. You know, it's almost like a what have you done for me lately league, right? And what have we watched the past 2 years? We've watched Joe Burrow light it up, and we've watched Josh Allen, and we've watched Patrick Mahomes, and we've watched a couple other new young quarterbacks come onto the scene. We're watching Jalen Hurts this year, Justin Herbert. So people have forgotten about Deshaun Watson, for one. And then for two, of course, because of all of his off-the-field issues and off-the-field struggles, it really almost seems like it's taboo to tout him or to talk about his football skills and his football prowess. People don't want to touch it. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I really do. People don't want to praise him. People don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I just think that it just has so much to do with his off the field issues.
Yeah, that was my leading theory. Like, they don't have to talk about Deshaun Watson, so like, why would you? I mean, I've thought, like, if Deshaun Watson had gone to Atlanta instead of Cleveland, would I even mention him in that same breath as like Joe Burrow and Mahomes and whatever? Or, you know, would I kind of just ignore it? And if he ends up being that player again, great, we'll talk about him then. And also, I don't think it's unfair. I think it's okay to say, like, he was a great quarterback in 2020 and that skill set is still there, but like, I've got to see it before we can put you in the same breath as Patrick Mahomes, who, like I said, is playing in his third Super Bowl here, and Joe Burrow, who's gone to back-to-back AFC championship games. And like, you know, he didn't look like that guy in the final 6 games or anything close to it. So part of it is he kind of has to earn it back a little bit.
Yes, he definitely does. He's got to earn it back. And I think he knows that. I think he knows that he has to earn back his football reputation, his off the field reputation. He's got plenty of work to do there. There are a number of fans that I know that really don't want to have anything, to do with the Browns with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. It's just the reality of the situation that the Browns and their fans and everyone else has to deal with. But I do know this about Deshaun. He has the work ethic. He plans to do everything he can to put himself back on the map. And of course, he's working very hard off the field too. We know that. He has to. He has no choice. But he is working very, very hard to restore his football name as well. And it won't be for lack of trying. He's meticulous in his practice habits and his workout habits. And if there's anything that he can possibly do to get back into that conversation, to be that winning quarterback, the one that the Browns paid the $230 million to and gave up all these draft picks for, he will do it. And
he has to be in that conversation for this to be a success, right? Like, I mean, I guess the Browns could find a way to win if he's like not quite that level. But if you're going to give up that much and pay him $230 million, you're basically saying we believe he is like that guy. He is a top 5 quarterback. So for this to ultimately be a success, the Browns have to win, but also you would hope that he would also play at that high of a level, because you're bringing him in. Because if you ever do have to go to Arrowhead for an AFC championship game, you want to believe in the guy you have under center.
Absolutely, 100%. And yes, that is the whole entire reason why they went out and they got themselves Deshaun Watson, because, you take one look at the landscape, the quarterback.